with a belch. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That's
Are
good.
you going to play the intro?
Yeah, I'm probably going to play the intro today. Probably right now, as a matter of fact. Oh, look at that.
Oh, the beaver stuff's up still.
That's good. The beaver stuff.
I'm so glad they updated our system.
I know. You can't. There's certain things you can't do to children. One of them is change things. Welcome to the show. My name is Dean. That is Lachlan, and we are your children for today. Happy May Long weekend. It is the Monday of the May Long. We've got some stuff to get to that's fairly timely today. Welcome to the program again, Mr. Lachlan Cross. You can follow him on Twitter at Lachlan Cross. Nice to see you. Before we get to a bunch of stuff, including Trump not being able to buy a gun, The Boys Season 4 trailer, and Season 5 being renewed, which I'm very fucking excited about. Before we get to the uptick in vaccine talk, everybody's on the vaccine tip now. Wanted to address Game 7. We've got the Canucks Oilers tonight. You're in Edmonton. Very important Game 7. Came out like a house on fire the other day. And won. What was it? 5-1? Was that the last score? 5-1? Was that
yes.
The Game 6 score? 5-1. It was a trucking is what it was. It was an absolute trucking.
I knew.
Which you called. Yeah, you called.
Yeah, I knew that there was going to be a Game 7. It's been so close. I'm like, there's absolutely no way this series doesn't end in a Game 7. So that's tonight. I'm looking forward to it. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Okay, we're down to the final 4 after tonight's game.
Uh-huh.
So we got Florida and the Rangers on the East.
Dallas beat final. Yeah.
Dallas beat Colorado. So they're waiting for the Edmonton Canucks series to wrap up. Now, regardless of what happens, do you cheer for the Canadian team in the Final 4?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm that guy. I got in a lot of fights with
too.
my buddy Darren Pfeiffer from the rock and roll band Goldfinger. Remember years ago, I used to work with him at the Edge. And we got in literally a heated argument over this. Because he's American, working in Canada at the time. And he was working at the Edge, and we would sit down and talk about it. And he's like, "Oh, the Rangers! You got to cheer for the Rangers. It's a New York team." I'm like, "No, I don't. You got to cheer for a Canadian team." He goes, "No, you got to cheer for a New York team because it's like geographically the closest thing to you, right?" It wasn't. And I'm like, "No, I could care less." This is years and years and years ago when the Rangers were in it. So we got into it, and he's like, "That's so stupid." I said, "You know what's stupid is you're a fucking Sabres fan." And you're like, well, the Sabres are out, so you're going to cheer for the Rangers? That's like super stupid. And he's like, no, it's super stupid that you cheer for a Canadian team. I'm like, no, by that stretch of the imagination, you should not cheer for any American teams if your American team is out. That's what you're saying to me. You should just like a team. But I'm Canadian first, right? I'm not Alberta first, Ontario first. I'm Canada first. And I've got my team in Canada, teams, Leafs, Oilers. And I will be pulling for the Oilers tonight. I will. I want the Oilers to win. I would like the Oilers to win. I'm an Alberta native. It's a small town. It's nice to see. It's a good story. Huge Connor McDavid guy. The entire story around the team, how you had 2 different seasons. Plus, I grew up with the team, loving the team, being a Gretzky file. So that's where my allegiance lies. But to your point, go Canada. I don't care who it is. There's a lot of
Canadian hockey fans that won't cheer for a Canadian team because of you will see that. You will see people cheering for Dallas over Vancouver because they hate the Vancouver Canucks so much. Now, this might not be the best time to bring this up, but I've been thinking a lot lately about the Leafs' demise again. It was Game 7, right?
Yeah,
in the first round,
overtime. Actually, yeah.
Okay,
dude. Every time you bring
sometimes
it up,
I forget.
Nothing bothers me. This does not bother me. I know you're bringing it up like you think you're going to get me. Like we're in a garage having 16 beers on a Saturday, and you're like, "How about those fucking Leafs?" I don't care. I find it funnier.
No. Here's why I'm bringing it up, because I've started to sort of think about what it is, what's going to happen, because we've had these curses, and clearly this is a curse, okay? Yeah. But it's more than a Leafs curse, and we've had these in professional sports before, and everybody always points to one thing or another that breaks the curse, some major tipping point or turning point in a team's evolution, right? Right? You've seen this in the past. It happens in baseball. It's happened in basketball. it happens. So clearly right now, you've got a team that hasn't won since 1967. Okay.
Yeah.
You've got a Canadian. The last Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup was the Habs in 1993. Okay. Right. And so I keep going back to this, and this may be petty of me.
It is.
And I'm not condoning violence by any stretch, but on some level, I think the end, and I don't even want to bring this up because we're about to have a Canadian team enter the Final Four of the Stanley Cup Finals in 2024.
Yeah.
But something needs to happen to Gary Bettman. And I'm also a little concerned. We can talk about it.
Yeah.
But I'm also wildly concerned that he may be a vampire, and we may have to resort to vampire techniques to get rid of him.
He's been there a long time, hasn't he?
He was there in 1993. What hasn't happened since 1993?
Canadian team hasn't won the Cup since 93. A Canadian team hasn't been in a Cup final since 2011, 23 years.
This is, I'm telling you right now.
It's almost a 40-year exercise, kids. It really is.
This is, it's
and
30 years
when he showed up, when Gary Bettman showed up, that little ferret, when Gary Bettman showed up, everybody's like, he's gonna put so many teams in the United States. Everybody's going to go to those teams. Canada's not going to win another cup. Guess what hasn't happened, to your point? Yes, it's not like I'm disagreeing. That was the narrative. And true to his word, he gave a little nod and a wink to all the American owners like Jeremy Jacobs in Boston. He's like, that cup will never go north again. Don't you worry about a thing. Fuck them. Fuck Canada. Gary Bettman hates Canada, I'm convinced. Just hates
I'm sure of it.
He tried for years to jam a square peg in a round hole, like 30 years. He's like, give me that franchise out of Winnipeg. Let's put it in Phoenix. They had like 100 different homes, never made the playoffs. Team sucked every year. Shane Doan, who's the captain of Team Suck, like the franchise that has sucked the hardest and the longest, was like, I love losing. Let's just stay in Arizona. That's just it's a loser franchise, and he knew it. And
now they're going to Salt Lake City?
Yeah, it's going to actually work there, though. It's going to work.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Big time. Salt Lake City's actually a big city. They got the infrastructure for it. They got an actual arena for it. The dude that bought it has money. The guy,
by the way, you can drink in Utah. You said it was illegal.
You can't have sex or drink in Utah. They're
Last
super
time
morbid.
you said that, I was like, that can't be true.
No,
I brought it up. I brought it up at a party.
I lied. So if any of those players that played for Arizona,
you can't drink in Utah, and they're like, what?
You're not allowed to do drugs or have sex either. You have to be Mormon if you go to Utah. It's like part of the thing when you land. They're like, "You Mormon? Nope, you are now." Got to be Mormon.
If anybody has any advice on how because I got my fingers crossed for an Edmonton win tonight.
Are you emotionally invested in this game?
Absolutely.
You are. Are you one of those guys that's going to watch tonight? Let me ask you some questions. Are you one of those guys that's going to watch the Oilers Canucks Game 7 frittata this evening? And are you going to be like, pacing, watching part of it from the kitchen, then going to the other end of the couch, and then Vancouver will score, it might be 1-0, and you'll like stand up and twirl around and put your hands in the air? Are you one of those guys?
No.
Are you one of those guys do you stand up when they score? Do you stand up and go, yes?
Oh, yeah.
Like, are you one of those guys? Yeah, you think you're in the game? All right.
Yeah, I will be that. I actually, you'll enjoy this too, because I watch the games with my wife, who's very entertaining to watch hockey games with.
Yeah,
some of the things she says makes me laugh out loud, and quite often she will say things that the commentators, like Craig Simpson, will repeat almost verbatim what she'll say, which makes me laugh even harder because she's that engaged in the game. I said to her, it's Game 7. Do you want to go somewhere?
Is she the kind of fan, like the kind of female fan who you'll sit there and out of nowhere she'll go, they're terrible on the half boards and their neutral zone trap is not working. And then it gets repeated 5 minutes later and you're like, oh my God, she knows what she's fucking talking about. Like one of those.
Yes. This happens all the time. No, I'll tell you a quick story. So I said to the wife, Game 7's a big game. I said, do you want to go? Do you want to go somewhere and watch? Because we were not at home on Saturday night for the game. And she's like, no, we're watching at home. I'm like, why? Like, it's a big game. Like, don't you want to, share the experience? Maybe we'll go to Sherlock Holmes, which is where we go watch hockey sometimes. And she's like, no, because no one pays attention to the game. She was mad.
She really wants to watch the game.
Yes.
Okay. She doesn't want anybody interrupting her. Yeah.
Everyone was chatting, and they were socializing during the game on Saturday night when we were out with friends.
Dude, there's game 7 of a Leaf game. I can't remember which game it was, which one of the game 7s that they lost, but I was at a bar, same thing. I think it was at the Duchess, not far from here. And great pub, great wings. Years ago. And I'm there with like a bunch of
Did they lose?
Like, yeah,
they lost.
Yep,
they lost the game's first round.
Once again, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I like it, so keep it up. And I think it was the Montreal series, if I'm not mistaken. And we're at a table with like 8 guys. That was special. That's what kicked it off. It was year 2 of the.
Well,
misery.
They were ahead 3-0 in that series.
3-1.
And then the Habs won 4 straight. Like I said, I don't think I've ever seen a team find more exciting ways to disappoint a fan base.
I'm aware, but do you know how bad it was? Because this is how bad it was. How bad it was, which made me laugh my ass off. Like literally laugh my ass off. I'm at a table with a bunch of guys. There's 8 of us, maybe 10, I can't remember. And we're sitting down, we're having a good time. And it's like halfway through the 3rd period. Leafs are down 2-1 or something like that. And Montreal scores. This guy stands up, doesn't freak out over the game, turns to the table next to us and says, if you guys would have just shut the fuck up, I could have enjoyed this fucking game. I didn't say a word to anybody the whole game. Just sat there and watched it. Would stand up and he'd like fucking throw his beer and stuff like that every time Montreal would score. And so he was so mad at the result. He just turned his attention on the table next to us, lost his fucking mind.
Yeah.
And the table next to us is like, excuse me, we're just having a visit. Like, we haven't really said anything. And he just screamed. He went like person to person.
We're here for wing night.
Because they were. Person to person at the table. He's like 6 people at the table. He's like, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Canadian hockey fans.
Oh my God. It was just and I remember saying to a buddy of mine,
some of them shouldn't be allowed out.
I looked at him, I'm like, you need to take that guy to counseling. I said to a buddy of mine who's really good friends with him, I go, I don't want to mention his name, Phil Williams, long story. I said, listen, you're gonna have to take Phil to counseling to get this fucking shit figured out. He's got a whole basement littered with Leaf stuff too. It like means way too much to some of these people. I'm just happy you're not that guy. You're gonna enjoy a game tonight.
I'm gonna enjoy it.
I think they're gonna win. I think the Oilers are gonna win.
I don't want to jinx them. I am thinking about finding some way to counteract the Bettman curse on the Canadian hockey teams. And I don't know if I need to wear garlic or something. Send me advice. Send me DMs. All right.
You're going to be fine.
Okay. You want to pivot to Trump?
Yeah, I do, because he went fucking apeshit yesterday. We don't talk about Trump enough because it's just so much. Like, what are you going to talk? Which one of your indictments you're going to talk about today?
Plus, I think CNN is handling it for us.
Yeah, everybody is. MSNBC, CNN, Raw Story. There's plenty of places to get Trump shit.
If you want Trump news, you can find it.
Not here. We tend to, dude. I blew my wad over the past 4 years, and I find the Trump shit so confusing and annoying at this point. It's like, why bother? Right? Like, why bother going into a dissertation about how much of a douchebag he is, how much of a piece of shit he is?
This made me laugh, though. I don't know why. I laughed out loud this morning when I saw this when I was making coffee.
Well, he lost his mind at an NRA conference on the weekend. Yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Dallas.
The day before? Dallas is an NRA conference, of course, National Rifle Association, just a bunch of gun-toting losers that want to put guns in the hands.
He's not in court, so he has a little time to campaign.
That's right. Yeah, you got to break from court on the weekend because he's being held up in a hush money trial that's like 4 or 5 weeks, and apparently it's going to get real interesting on Monday with Michael Cohen yet again. But yesterday was really funny because apparently because of these indictments, he announced at the actual press conference his appearance that even though he's the president of the United States he's actually not allowed to own a gun, can't buy one. Is that right? Is that what he said?
He was trying to get sympathy from the NRA crowd, which I'm wondering if there was any Trumpers in that base, in that audience. I think it might represent most of his base.
Yeah.
Anyway, he did comment that, can you believe it? Look at what's happening to me. Look, can you believe the persecution? I've got 91 indictments on me, and they won't let me buy a gun.
Can you believe the injustice? 91 indictments, federal crimes, treason, sedition, all that stuff. They won't even let me buy a
They
firearm.
won't even let me buy a gun. I can't believe this country. It's going in the toilet.
That's all he says, too. This country's full of shit. It's going in the toilet. If he fucking makes any sense, apparently at the same rally, he gapped out for like 30 seconds. You know, when like
Sudafed stopped working.
Really old people sometimes gap out. They're like this in the middle of a sentence. Like my grandmother does it sometimes, where you'll be talking to her on the phone and you'll be like, "Hey, Graham, how was your day?" And she'll go, "Oh, it was lovely. I just went."
It's not funny. It's not. Funny. When they bring up carrots.
I had carrots today.
Oh, that's not funny.
It was yesterday at the Trump rally. You got to watch it. No, you got to watch this. You got to watch this. This is him.
Did you find video? Okay,
yeah, I got the video of him like literally fucking having a stroke in the middle of his NRA conference. You got to watch this. The music comes on. It's, by the way, QAnon music that they're playing at the NRA rally. Made me laugh my ass off. But this guy is so fucking senile, and he is so hopped up on Sudafed and speed. He fucking slurred his way to the start of the song and then had no idea what to do. It was like he just kind of fucking froze. Watch this. It's awesome.
Nation in the history of the world.
What is that music?
He's lost.
He's probably thinking, am I supposed to announce an award here right now?
Did I just shit?
Did somebody win something?
Who farted? That's what he's singing. Who farted? That's that look right there. Look, he's like,
no, he's looking. Why is this music playing? They're trying to play you off, Trump.
But now,
here we go.
We are a nation in decline.
It's all you can say at the end of it. He's like, "You're a nation in decline."
That can't be real.
It's 100% real. It's from last night.
The music, did somebody add the music after the fact?
No, they played it like it was one of those like play some music for effect here and talk about how shitty America is and how we love to kill kids in school with these guns and we like to sell people and background checks are for pussies, that kind of stuff. Like he was supposed to say that in here. Like that, something like that in here. He's like, which he did the other day. He's like, hey, you know what? Fuck. Like in the same actual conference at the same speech, he was like, we don't have a problem with school shootings.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, basically. What he said.
No, he didn't.
And then he had a fucking stroke.
Nation in the history of the world.
This is really weird.
Oh, dude, it's awesome.
The thing is, though, I mean,
like
he has so many
no idea what's going
moments.
on. What's that?
Like, there's so many awkward moments.
Oh, he's
in
awkward
Trump's
dude.
Speeches that none of this surprises me anymore. Anyway, I feel bad for the guy that he can't get a Colt 45 right now.
Yeah, I know. He's really I'm torn up about the whole thing, to be honest with you.
The ex-president of the United States of America. There's got to be some contingency plan.
If he wins, you mean?
Well, no, I'm just saying if either one of them wins, I mean, somebody smarter than us is sitting behind a room in a room somewhere going, okay, so Biden's in his 80s, Trump's almost there, or has he turned 80 yet?
Yeah, Trump's like 79 or something like that. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, like these guys are old as dirt. There's got to be some sort of plan in place in case one of these guys pops off, right? Like the Republicans have to be thinking, okay, like look, he's not a healthy looking man, you know.
Yeah, he gaps out chance, all the time.
Is there a chance that Trump passes away right before the election? I mean, Biden. I mean, it's sad to say, but they're at a point where every day is a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Like
it doesn't matter how old you are. Like you're not guaranteed that. And the closer you get to 80, Yeah, the closer you are to death. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? It's an easy equation.
Yeah,
And
it's
they're
a walk
both
to
like
the kitchen.
Biden gapped out the other day too, right? Like same thing.
Yeah,
He was
Biden.
like yesterday. He was like, "I was the vice president during the pandemic." We're like, "Dude, that was someone else. That was Mike Pence. Nothing to do with you." But to your point, this is what I find incredible. Biden just not a criminal, right? He's just not a traitorous piece of shit, asshole, rapist, criminal who traded nuclear secrets with other countries, who stole boxes of nuclear secrets from the White House and took him to Mar-a-Lago and put him in a shitter. I mean, there's a very different taste of character in the individual, and you would think a nation built on the idea of character, which is the whole idea. You'd think Biden would be way ahead in the polls. This is the latest polls from this morning in the United States. Fucking look at this. Trump's ahead by 1.2%.
Wow.
Guy is literally in court every single day trying to defend himself against a hush money trial with some porn stars and hookers, of which he is guilty. Of which he is guilty of J6, of which he is guilty of like absolutely abusing people in front of the rotunda that day. If you remember when the Black Lives Matter thing happened and everybody that fucking put fences around. I mean, dude is just the worst human being in the world. And he's probably the leading candidate in the presidential race of the United States of America. I mean, it's just, and here's the other thing. It speaks to where America is, which I think is fucking hilarious. Is there like, we just hate politics so much we still don't care who the president is as long as it's not a politician. It's fucking wild.
I'm still confused by the Trump thing. Every once in a while, somebody will say something. There'll be a narrative. There'll be a piece, a nugget of something that'll go, oh, okay, that'll make sense. But at the end of the day, I still truly believe something that I came up with within the last year, and I think I mentioned it on the podcast a couple of times. There is a segment of the population in the United States, south of us, our fine neighbors in the United States of America, that they're the and the reason I thought of this is because I was looking at pictures of my trip to Jamaica years ago, and I remembered that every time we went to the hot tub to hang out in the hot tub for before dinner or whatever, there was always an American couple, and they were always the loudest couple in the hot tub. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying they weren't nice. I'm just saying they were aggressive in nature. And I just think there's a personality trait down there that you don't see in Canada or other countries. This overly patriotic, overly aggressive, and they like, we're number one. And we're going to do whatever we want. We're here to protect the world. And here's how we're going to prove it to you. Not only are we the best country in the world, but we're so good, we're going to put a complete lunatic in charge because we know you guys don't like him, that the rest of the world doesn't like him.
Yeah.
He's our guy. Watch us do this.
Oh, man. I mean,
I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
But then there's also because the evangelical side of things is very confusing to me. Why religious people that believe in all these good things have propped him up as this disciple. And it's because they think that he will do the things that they want done in the States. So they kind of ignore the crazy. They go, oh, yeah,
we'll take a little rape and a few indictments and some treason and shit. If he just ends abortion.
Yeah, nothing you can't shake off in a confession booth. Right?
Yeah.
So, but he may put some judges in charge that are on our side. So there's a little bit of that.
You already did. I mean, you're 100% right. Christian nationalism.
That's why I think he's still got that kind of momentum on that side.
He's been able to do what David Parker did in Alberta, right? Which is you go and get a whole bunch of disenfranchised people. You represent a whole bunch of different cultures. And then you tell everybody, hey, you're full of resentment. You want things to change, get behind me. And that's what MAGA is. That's what Maple MAGA is by and large. It's a whole bunch of people who are disenfranchised with everything from big pharma to education, to hygiene, to reading, to books, to science, to like fucking common sense and critical thought. And you know what it is? I've been reading this fucking book. I've read it like 5 times. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. And I would encourage everybody to go read this book.
I've read it.
Fucking awesome. Yeah, it's incredible. And read it again. Read it again now that we're going through what we're going through.
This is where your stoicism is taking you.
Yeah, it is. Subtle art of not giving a fuck. And it's 100% true. And I do have to say this. I don't give a fuck about the extreme left or the extreme right. Doesn't matter to me. It's all the same thing. But let's just talk about MAGA, Maple MAGA, the real extremes, the people who want to hurt other people so they can usher in an age of whatever it is they think we should be living by, and the rules, regulations, policies, all that other shit. If you can go around and be all things to all disenfranchised people who, A, deny the reality of their existence, right? This can't be right. This can't be real. So you've got to blame someone else for it. And B, tell everybody you're going to invent a victim army. It's super fucking easy to radicalize a whole bunch of losers who are really, really stupid. Okay. And this is plain speak. I'm not talking about vaccines, but it has borne itself out again in this vaccine movement. There's a new and improved vaccine movement. I don't know if you've seen this, because a couple days ago, a kid in Ontario, where I live, died of measles.
Yeah.
Measles.
I saw that.
Measles has been eradicated for like 100 years. Like we get shots for it, vaccines for it, measles, mumps, rubella. Well, there's a segment of society now that is so anti-vax because they've believed every piece of disinformation, misinformation about things like mRNA vaccines from assholes like Dr. William Mackis and other people who just are here to fuck everybody over, which is what Dr. William Mackis is. Now,
I think
and several other doctors. Well, plus these are doctors who aren't real doctors who are looking for a place in the sun. And they've realized guys like William Mackis, who, by the way, Alberta's holding this kind of cool thing. It's called the an Injection of Truth Conference. Have you heard about this? Yeah.
No,
it's the Injection of Truth. No, dude. It's the Injection of Truth Conference. It's incredible. Let me bring this up. CTV did some nice reporting on it. And the Injection of Truth Conference is an anti-vax vaccine conference. And the great part about the anti-vax vaccine conference, called the Injection of Truth, is that you can actually see what they're talking about here. This is and this is really simple. This is easy. You don't have to be super smart to get it. You don't have to be a vaccine expert or an anti-vaccine expert to not get it. But let me kind of play this out for you, okay? A website was selling tickets to a controversial Alberta UCP town hall dropped the event. Eventbrite was offering tickets for an Injection of Truth, a meeting hosted by the party led by Calgary Lougheed MLA Eric Bouchard, who's deeply anti-vax. Yeah. As of Thursday morning, this last Thursday, the ticket seller URL's event returned an error. However, the event is still going ahead. Suggests your government's official website, which now includes separate links to sell tickets. Those separate links to sell tickets I'll share with you in just a second. An Injection of Truth is described as a meeting where current scientific data, victim statements will be shared with its audience. Victim statements. These are people that say they've been victimized by the culture of vaccines, right? People telling them that they should get vaccinated or they can't do things. People sharing stories about how they got vaccinated in a list of a million different things that happened to them, which is not only unconfirmed. Most of the people that are speaking here are not actually real doctors. Like in one case, Dr. William Mackis, he's a radiation oncologist. And he's been running around the country telling people not only that the mRNA vaccine is bad for you, but he's also running around the country telling people that mRNA vaccines, anything that uses mRNA technology, causes something called turbo cancer. Have you heard of turbo cancer?
No. But I'm worried now.
Well, that's not real. That's the thing. Like, that's the beautiful part of this whole thing. Is this is the gentleman, Dr. William Mackis. He's been fact-checked a million times. He's actually had his license revoked. He had his license revoked about a year and a half, 2 years ago. The College of Physicians has refused to license him. He's been censured because he's running around telling everybody this thing about turbo cancer, which indeed is not real. Here you go. This Belgian study on coronavirus says that coronavirus vaccines read by millions of people after it was shared on social media by anti-vax campaigners. The anti-vaxxers claim that the study shows there's a link between coronavirus vaccines and something called turbo cancer, which is not recognized by scientists. No, dude, they just invent new things to scare you with, to get you to not get vaccinated at all. Dr. Sander Enns said the study proved no such thing. There was not a single piece of scientific evidence, either in our study nor elsewhere, that points to a causal link between mRNA vaccines and cancer. Here's where it came from. Research set out to check the reliability of a Chinese study that said too much Pfizer vaccine will give you inflammation in your heart muscle and it could kill you. So they injected 14 mice with the shit. 2 days later, one of the mice was dead. And Dr. Enns was like, however, we have no idea what killed him. It was lymphoma. However, we don't know if he had lymphoma before we actually gave him the vaccine. So this study didn't bear out anything called turbo cancer. And that's where guys like Dr. William Mackis and several other people are going to go to this conference in Alberta, which will be streamed live, right? It's not just an Alberta thing. This is a thing that is happening in Alberta, because there is a large segment of people that have believed that quack, who is a suspended doctor, who has no training in any capacity about infectious disease, vaccines, general practice at all. He's never, ever, 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 ever treated a patient for any of these things. And after he got defrocked, because his belief systems took him there, he didn't even appeal. He's like, fuck it. I'm going to go on the speaking tour and warn everybody against this. So again, we have resentment that plays its way into this anti-vax thing. And what has happened since then? We've had millions of Canadians decide that they're going to side with their culture and the disinformation that they see from guys like that. Now measles. Measles is a big thing.
Yeah.
And how big is this measles thing? A couple of days ago, a child under 5 died of measles in this province of Ontario. Public Health Ontario said a young child died, making it the first death in the province since the highly contagious virus was vaccinated against 1989. The child was under the age of 5. The parents did not immunize this child against the vaccine, against the virus. The death was reported in Hamilton. Public Health Ontario said there have been 22 cases of measles reported in the province of Ontario. Of those individuals, 13 were children and 9 were adults. 4 of the adults, right, 4 of the adults were previously immunized. 2 were unimmunized, and 2 had no known immunization status. The cases spanned across 9 different public health units. It's a big deal in rural places in this country. Measles are making a big comeback with the unvaccinated, because what happens is measles is highly infective. It's super bad, and it will come for you if you have low immunization, if you are not boosted for measles, or if you are not vaccinated for measles. And measles is one of the world's greatest killers in the history of endemic death. And so now we're fucking with that, because guys like Dr. William Mackis and people like the United Conservative Party in Alberta are trying to convince everybody that vaccines are bad by legitimizing this podunk conference that's going on called the Injection of Truth, which, by the way, you can get VIP tickets for that for $152.
So you know. here's the issue that I have with it, right? Okay, one, first and foremost, that kid died from something he shouldn't have died from.
Yeah.
But the other issue is that in our country, we have some major issues with the medical system. And again, I don't know what the answer is, but there's issues. I think we're very lucky to have what we have, but there's problems. And in North America, and this is the hippie coming out in me, we always treat the symptoms of everything. We don't actually go and source out the root cause. That's kind of left to people's own devices. And because of that and the mistrust of the medical community as a whole, and again, this isn't me making some statement that Lachlan only thinks this. We have some major problems with the medical system in Canada. Okay. And I also think that when you go to the doctor, we also have a pill problem. And it's even worse in the United States. I saw an ad the other day on CNN for a pill to help you with something that you would get from taking another pill. So we have jumped the shark. We're advertising things in the States, they are, to fix a problem you get from a long-term abuse of one medication. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Oh, it's a pill factory
So
down there. Yeah.
It's out of hand. Like, we are over-pilled.
Oh, dude, and no one's arguing. Like, here's the thing, because Parker. Go ahead. Yeah.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
So we're a pilled up society, and it's okay to have a little bit of mistrust. I think it's healthy when there's something wrong with you and you're not feeling well, and you go see a doctor, and they tell you one thing, or they hand you a script for something. I think it's incumbent on everybody to go, hey, what is this for? Why do I need this? And I think it's okay to go, hey, is there an alternative? Like, what if I did a little bit of research?
That doesn't cause possible anal leakage? Is there something else?
Yes. And why did I get this in the first place?
Yeah.
And you might not get those answers from your doctor. You may actually have to go outside of that doctor. And listen, again, this might be the hippie coming out of me.
It for sure is.
There may be a problem with what you're putting in your face hole, right? Maybe it's a diet, but doctors don't have the time. They don't have the patience. They don't have the energy to do that with every one of their patients. It's kind of on you. But the extreme side of that is it's pushed people to
they don't trust
their kids from schools,
anybody,
moving to the woods, starting hobby farms, homeschooling their kids, vaccinating your
starting
kids,
a compound in Okotoks for people who just want to eat clean and don't ever want to put any vaccines in their bodies. A hermetically sealed camp. Yeah.
So I'm very torn by. Listen, I'm not on that extreme side of things.
Okay, but that's a whole other set. You're talking about something totally different.
You have to take your health,
but that's a different
into
thing,
your own hands.
That's a totally different thing. What I'm talking about is this.
And it's okay to not trust the medical.
Basic fucking science. Basic fucking immunology. The thing that has perpetuated the human race for the past 400 years, which has allowed us to grow to 8.5 billion people, it's by eradicating certain diseases and the effect or the extreme effect of certain diseases, right? So say what you want about the COVID vaccine. No, let me finish. Take what you want. That's a totally different subject.
That's the same thing. It's why people are. Yes, it is.
That's because they're stupid. And let me explain that one to you.
It's why we're where we're at.
Well, that's because they're dumb. It's because there's nuance involved here. Is big pharma full of money and bullshit? 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is the medical profession a waste of time in certain areas in this country? Absolutely. Is healthcare broken in Canada? Yeah. And I know who broke it. Big pharma, greed, money,
and government.
Money, government. That's who broke it. Do I get distrust in the medical profession? 1,000%, dude. I went in and they told me I was pre-diabetic like 2 years ago. If you remember, I was getting a bunch of tests done. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Pre-diabetic. And they're like, yeah, you might want to put you on some medication, some cholesterol medication. You might want to start doing some things differently, but this is like pre-diabetic time for you. So you might have to get on a bunch of pills. And I'm like, I don't take pills. I just don't. To the point where 3 years prior, I got a second opinion, by the way. And they're like, yeah, you're not pre-diabetic at all. Your blood sugar is great. Your blood pressure is like 112 over 68. You're doing fucking awesome, dude. Keep going. I'm like, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Have a great day. There are good doctors and bad doctors. But if there's one bad doctor who gives you one, and to your point, I advocated for myself, went and got another opinion. I'm like, I need more blood work. I'm going to talk to a different doctor. So now that doctor is my doctor. Not because he told me what I wanted to hear, but because he showed me the actual printout of where I was. He didn't just call me and tell me. Yeah. So you've got a good doctor. A lot of people have had bad doctors. Like I've had a bad dentist. That doesn't mean I don't trust dentists. And it doesn't mean I don't trust doctors. It means that I look for the proper doctor. I do my work, and then I'll go in and I'll advocate for myself in that process. That's what you're talking about. When it comes to the pill shit, we're over-pilled 100%. And I'll explain to you my experience in the world of pills. I am depressed. This is like 7 years ago. I get off alcohol. I get like multiple diagnoses. They put me on this thing called Prestique. It's this antidepressant, anti-anxiety medication, right? Absolutely going to try. Because I had to get to a point where I could like literally operate. That's how fucked I was. Like I was super fucked when I quit drinking. I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do today. I can't even get out of bed. Don't want to go outside. Don't want to go to Shoppers Drug Mart. Like I was a mess. So they had to put me on some stuff. And this stuff got me to a point where I could operate, but it was so preventative after that I took it for 2 years. I was not myself. I felt like a zombie. Never felt great, never felt terrible. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
I hear that a lot.
So I quit taking those pills. And I had head buzzes, head zaps for like 6-8 months that would almost knock me over.
Wean yourself off.
Yeah, I know, but I'm an idiot, so I didn't do that. I just went for broke. And I decided that, well, if I can do this and if I know those are just side effects of me being healthier, I'm not going to worry about those side effects. I'm just going to try and soldier through it. So I started to work out. I got a plan together, I invested in something called TMS, which is everybody should look into it. I think it's phenomenal. I started to meditate. I started to do cognitive behavioral therapy, the real work involved in trying to get better. I haven't taken a pill for anything in I don't know how long. And it's not like I'm some kind of hero. It's because I did what you're talking about. But that's a very different stroke than all vaccines are bad or a parent in Ontario. And I want to address this just for a second.
I get that there's some separation there, but
deciding in their infinite wisdom,
saying.
I do, and I'm addressing it. But you have to address it in a critical manner. You can't just go, I'm just not going to trust them because I had a bad experience. It's such fucking horseshit. I've had several bad experiences with medical professionals. So I went and found ones where I got not what I needed to hear, but a good experience that had a solution, that found a result that could work with the way that I operate, right? But I put all of the science in the hands of scientists. I put all of the medical professional advice I get in the hands of those professionals. So when a guy like Dr. William Mackis is contracted.
Is he Canadian?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
Is contracted to go and deliver an anti-science, fuck science, vaccines are bad. And by the way, this is the gentleman who lied and put out a news story not long ago. And that news story was about, I believe, how 80 doctors had just keeled over and died from the vaccine in like 1 year.
Okay, that guy.
Yeah, it's the same guy. It's this guy, Dr. William Mackis. Here, Dr. William Mackis and turbo cancer, falsely blaming COVID-19 for cancer. This guy
I remember the guy that did the whole doctors. Yeah.
Which was debunked in like 5 minutes. And the family of those 80 doctors, all 80 of them, I believe, tried to sue him or are in the process of still trying to sue the gentleman.
Well,
one doctor died of cancer.
A lot of them. He claimed some of them were dead that were still alive too, wasn't it? Yeah. Here's the thing.
Yeah, it's just a quack. And so, but here's the part that I'm trying to get to, is that it's okay to question science. It is. It's okay to question science if you know what you're talking about. It's okay to question a doctor's decision to give you some kind of chemical drug.
Yeah.
If you don't want to take it, go and ask other doctors. Absolutely, it is your prerogative to go do those things. But when it comes to a parent
and to find an alternative,
deciding that their child is not going to be immunized against all of the worst plagues humanity has ever had to offer, which is why we're all here and we've been able to perpetuate the fucking human race. That's just fucking dumb. That's just a person that doesn't give a shit about their child as much as they give a shit about being right about something they know nothing about. That's stupidity. That's childish. That's what a 3-year-old does. What does a 3-year-old do when they don't like an answer because they don't get it? They fucking flail around on the ground and act like assholes. What's going on with the anti-vax movement now? Like, we brought up the vaccine thing and a poor child died because the parents are fucking stupid. Stupidity is now killing children.
Yeah.
Killing. You're killing your kids with stupidity. If you have not, and I'm talking to one person specifically here, if you have not vaccinated your child against the basics, if you're refusing to do it because you read something that Dr. William Mackis put out, or you read something that UCP put out, or David Parker put out in his Twitter feed, if you're that person, you're a fucking awful human being who in no way should be allowed to raise children at all. Fact, period, stop, final whistle, that's it. Because that's what killed that child. A parent's hubris and stupidity. And that is what is going to kill more kids. And that is what is going to keep us sick for a long time, are people who completely deny science. In no way do they understand at fucking all. Period.
Yeah.
Stop. So there you go. And dude, it's like, it's full on. Like, I haven't been on Twitter this weekend. I logged on last night. You know that dude whose son died is answers for Sean, that dude who's been like, he's like putting out like laughing emojis talking about his kid's death yesterday because he thinks he's dunking on people. This is his son's death. His son died. His son died of an enlarged heart, and he's been running around pimping the death of his beautiful fucking child. And I want to point something out to you, Sean, because I saw it today. I'm sorry your son died, but if you want to see real fucking grief, go talk to Jennifer Neville Lake. Go talk to any real parent who actually loves their child, who's lost their child. That is not how someone who's grieving acts.
No,
that's how someone who's
grief
grifting
does weird things to us. Yeah.
Anyway,
this is going to be yeah. I was going to try to find a way to pivot to our next topic.
The boys.
Yeah, and I was going to make a anal leakage joke. Ask you if you dealt with that. But you kept making it harder and harder for me to slip in the anal leakage. Like, hey, but have you dealt with your anal leakage?
Well, dude, like I just watched the trailer for The Boys. You've been raging about it. This is one of my. I know, but like life imitates art. We're talking about vaccines and viruses. Plays a big part in season 4 of The Boys, which, by the way, if you have not,
ironically, it does.
It does. So does fascism. So does communism. It's mirroring.
They're tying into everything.
I know, and I fucking love it. And then they're just making it about superheroes. But if you haven't seen the trailer for The Boys, easily one of the more graphic trailers you'll ever see in your entire life. The Red Band trailer. Oh my fucking god,
dude! That show, I'm not a superhero guy. Like, I'm more of a Deadpool superhero guy. Like, I'm the anti-super. I never got into Superman, Spider-Man, Batman. I mean, I watched those, but I never got into the nerd stuff. And I've always been surprised, like the superhero stuff and the wrestling stuff. I've always been surprised when people past the age of 13 are still wildly obsessed with this stuff, right? I've always been fascinated by that. But when The Boys came out and I was like, it's a superhero show. I'm not watching that. I think it was Grant. He was like, no, dude, you need to watch this. And I watched that first season a couple years ago now, probably 4+ years now. And I was full in. It's saying more about society than I think anybody wants us to admit, right? It legit is. So it's a commentary on where we're at, and I think more on the States than anything. Mm-hmm. But if you haven't watched this, because, and again, the 4th season's, we're probably preaching to the choir here. The 4th season's about to be out, so I think most people have found it. It's
June
one of the
13th
best,
Prime.
June 13th Prime. It's one of the best series I've seen in years.
Oh,
and awesome. It's a superhero thing. It is so well written. And again, you mentioned it. They keep trying to outdo themselves on the graphic side of stuff. And if this trailer is any indication of where this season's at, my goodness, we are in for a roller coaster ride of gore. That 2 minutes, they're on a farm. At one point,
all the meat on his face, the human meat on his face when Homelander turns and smiles. I was like, man, I don't even know if you can put that in a trailer. And I love Red Band trailers, but I thought it was too hot for the Red Band trailer. Red Band trailers, you can put anything in a Red Band trailer.
Yeah.
But it was like, and it was the gore, to your point.
The chicken flying out of that guy's chest.
Yeah. Them shooting the chicken and the chicken not dying. It was awesome. You have to go and watch it. I'm going to post it at Crier. Go to crier.co. We'll post the actual Red Band trailer.
Yeah, we can't play anything on this because they'll block us. But
the great news is, season 5's already been red-lit. So I'm really excited. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that show. If you haven't watched it for whatever reason, because you're not a superhero guy or whatever, I'm trying to convince. I'll spend an hour trying to convince you to watch this show.
I know. I'm going to try and get my significant other to watch it for me. She's like, I never watch anything sci-fi or superhero related. I'm going to tell her, listen,
see, there's
this
people
is
like
very
that.
fucking different. Like you have to your point. Yeah. Because if you're not a superhero person, you're like MCU, forget it. Not interested.
Okay, has she seen Deadpool?
DC, not. Oh yeah, love Deadpool. Yeah.
Okay,
love it because the conversation is great, right? It's gory, it's interesting, it's fucking funny. Yeah.
She's got to watch The Boys.
Thing. Yeah, it's very Deadpool-ish. Which, by the way, I'm excited for Deadpool Wolverine too. Just like
I'll go to the theaters to see that one for sure.
Me too, no question. Thanks for doing this today, dude. Great to see you.
This was a heavier show today.
No, not really. It's kind of fun.
Well, I got Trump.
What, the vaccine stuff? Oh no, the Trump stuff's just fucking hilarious. Can you believe I can't have a gun? Can you believe the tyranny?
Batman's a vampire.
Trump
vaccines.
Hey, dude, It might all be true. Good to see you. Don't forget, everybody. Lachlan and I are going to be golfing on the 5th of July in the Ardent Roof Systems Golf Tournament for Stollery Child Life Program, the Stollery Children's Hospital. You can get your donations in. You can buy a foursome, I think, still. Not many foursomes left. I think there's some sponsorship opportunities left. Is that correct?
Yes, there's a handful of sponsor possibilities. So if you're a client, you want to get behind a very worthy cause and a golf tournament, give me drop me a line on social media. You can just send me a note on Twitter if you want. Or an email or whatever the case might be. My email is all over our YouTube page and everything like that too. So, but also they are closing in on a sellout again. And this one sells out every year. It's a very popular tournament. It's one of the better tournaments in the city in the summer in Edmonton. All right. And it's at the Ranch, which is a great course. They got the steak dinner. The silent auction is unbelievable. Looking for silent auction items as well. If you've got anything that you want to donate to the cause, every little bit helps. And the thing is, this is the 5th year and he's only done this 4 years and he's already raised $65,000 for the Child Life program at the Stollery. So it's been a very, very successful golf tournament for Ardent, and the Stollery brings in a lot of money. Okay. ArdentRoofSystems.com if you want to check out. There's information there. Or if you want him to come by and take a look at the roof too, to give you any ideas on what might be going on.
Yeah, right? Owens Corning Platinum Partner, but the Owens Corning Platinum Partner #1 in Canada, by the way, Western Canada.
Yes.
And
just won that award this year.
Eaves siding, not side troughs, Eaves Trough siding roofs.
Yeah. He did my Eaves Troughs at my rental property in St. Albert too.
Oh, one of your several rental properties. Yeah, go ahead, Slumlord, rub it in. You got all these rental properties. That's great. Here we go.
I don't have a bunch. I have
several.
2.
3. You have 3 houses. 3 houses. That's several. That counts as several.
There's a rental in the
basement.
Yeah. Iranian Jimmy moved out. We had to put somebody else in there.
All right. Who do you got in there now? Ukrainian Olga?
She's a nice lady. Yeah.
Oh, she's very good.
All right, she's a nice lady.
Thanks for doing this. Great to see you.
All right, brother. We'll talk
Happy
tomorrow.
May long. Yeah, happy Victoria Day. You know what this is all about, right? We celebrate Queen Victoria today. Old dead British woman. Yeah, in Canada, we're still part of the monarchy. Unfortunately. You're not. You should be fortunate, should you not be part of the monarchy. But we do get a couple extra long weekends out of it, which is kind of nice. Isn't that nice, huh? May long. This is what we aptly call in Canada, if you're depending on where you're listening, it's the May 2-4. That's what we call it, the May 2-4. It doesn't arrive on the 24th of May. It's the week of. They just call it the May 2-4. And the reason why they call it the May 2-4 is beer related, as a matter of fact. Just so you know. Gonna go get a 2-4 for the 2-4? It's a big deal in Ontario, where I live. Big deal across this country. We're all getting behind May 2-4. People are putting their swords down for May 2-4 this weekend. I like that about you, Canada. Way to go. Enjoy it this weekend. I love you, Canada. I love you. Have a great day. Thanks to everybody for watching, paying attention to the show. Appreciate it. Brought to you by our partners at Muse on the Mic. If you're looking for a great podcast that gets into the clinical work, sexologists, people in the body rub industry, people in that industry, Muse on the Mic. The podcast is a great podcast. You can go and download it today. Muse on the Mic podcast, taking it behind the scenes of sex work, talking about advocacy, talking about healthcare, talking about what the industry is all about. Go to Muse on the Mic Patreon channel, or Muse on the Mic YouTube. Download their podcast today. Go to Muse Massage for more details. Also, thanks everybody from Cantork for making this possible. Had dinner with Colin and Alex Tagliani, part of the Tagliani Pinty's NASCAR racing team the other day. They finished 10th, I believe, at Canadian Tire Motorsport. I could not get there yesterday, but absolutely one of the nicest human beings in the world. Colin and his group, one of the partners at the Tagliani racing team. Cantork, title sponsor, making rugged, hardworking torque wrenches for Canada's leading industrial tool experts, offering you the very best in sales, service, calibration, maintenance, custom fabrication, industrial torque tools, and rentals. No matter what it is, if it's a loosening or bolting problem you have, they have the answer. And if they don't have the answer, they will fabricate the answer for you. That is what they do, friends. That is what they do. That's what they do. They're solution people. Not only are they solution people, they're the people that have the ability to make any bolting or loosening solution, any fabrication solution for any bolting or loosening project in every heavy industry. So make sure you go to cantork.com, their brand new website, product, services, news, about. Also, their podcast section is Bananas. And you can check out his podcast. The last one he did was a lot of fun. I think he was a couple of tequilas in, and he talked a lot about racing and his industry. So go there today and check it out, cantork.com. And, of course, brought to you by factcheck.io. If you're looking for disinformation-killing software, you want to be part of a very robust team of fact checkers, people that can test and beta test what Fact Check is building. Go to factcheck.io and sign up for the beta. Quick questionnaire. You'll get put into the beta program. You'll receive an email, and then you'll get an ID, and that ID will get you into the back end of factcheck.io when the beta test is ready. We are getting there. It is so close. So close to the extension version, the picture version, the video version, the spoken word version. Make sure you go to Fact Check, sign up for their beta test, factcheck.io. Do that today. Have a great day, everybody. Appreciate you being part of the show. Have a great long weekend, man. Spend it with your family. Seriously. Spend this weekend with your family. Don't spend it worrying about things you can't change. Spend it with your family and just be present. Enjoy it. Have a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Bye-bye.